The Innova incident. The invisible cloud over Manaus. On the afternoon of July 15, 2026, the routine of Manaus's industrial district was suddenly interrupted by something no one could see. There were no massive flames lighting up the sky. There was no thick column of black smoke visible from miles away. The first warning that something was wrong came through the air. A strong chemical odor began spreading through the area surrounding the Innova petrochemical plant. Workers from nearby companies noticed the smell. Some felt a burning sensation in their eyes. Others began experiencing throat irritation, dizziness, headaches, and difficulty breathing. Inside Innova's Unit 4, one of the tanks storing styrene monomer had experienced an abnormal rise in temperature. Styrene is a substance used in the production of plastics, resins, packaging, and many materials found in everyday life. Under normal conditions, it is stored as a liquid. However, when heated, it can release flammable vapors that may be harmful to human health. At that moment, the tank was beginning to represent a threat that could not be ignored. The equipment's safety devices were reportedly activated to relieve the internal pressure. As a result, styrene vapors were released into the atmosphere. The goal was to prevent the pressure from continuing to rise, but the release allowed the chemical odor to travel beyond the boundaries of the plant. The fire department, civil defense teams, emergency medical services, and other public agencies were quickly mobilized. Workers from Innova and neighboring companies were ordered to leave the area. Machines were shut down, gates were closed, nearby streets began to be isolated. While hundreds of people evacuated their workplaces, specialized emergency teams moved closer to the tank. Firefighters began a continuous cooling operation. Large amounts of water were sprayed over the structure in an attempt to lower its temperature and control the reaction taking place inside the storage tank. The risk required extreme caution. When styrene undergoes uncontrolled heating, both temperature and pressure can increase rapidly. For this reason, emergency teams had to monitor the tank for hours, without interrupting the cooling operation. Outside the plant, the wind carried the chemical odor toward different parts of the city. Residents were advised to close their doors and windows. Drivers passing through the region were told to keep their windows shut and turn off the vehicle's external air intake. The population was also advised to avoid the industrial district until authorities confirmed that the area was safe. Schools suspended classes as a precaution. Companies halted their operations. Families followed the news, trying to understand how far the substance might have spread. As the hours passed, healthcare facilities began receiving people reporting symptoms associated with chemical exposure. Some experienced nausea and dizziness. Others reported burning eyes, fatigue, coughing, or respiratory discomfort. By the afternoon of July 17th, a total of 414 medical visits had been recorded in hospitals, emergency units, and healthcare centers across Manaus. Most patients showed mild symptoms, but the number revealed the social scale of an accident that initially appeared to be limited to the inside of a factory. While healthcare professionals assisted the population, environmental teams began investigating the possible effects on the air, soil, and water. The Manaus city government declared a state of alert and ordered the partial closure of the industrial unit. The company also received environmental fines worth millions, while different authorities demanded more detailed information about the tank's temperature, the concentration of the substance in the environment, and the risks to nearby communities. The Public Prosecutor's Office of Accounts of Amazonas called for greater transparency and the release of technical data that would allow the situation to be independently evaluated. During the following days, conflicting information emerged regarding the condition of the structure. Municipal authorities reported possible damage or cracks observed during inspections. Innova, however, stated that an inspection carried out with precision equipment had found no cracks on the surface of the tank. In a statement released on July 19th, the company announced that the temperature was under control and that vapors were no longer being released into the environment. Even so, one major question remained unanswered. What caused the overheating? Was it a failure in the cooling system? A mechanical problem? An unexpected chemical reaction? An operational error? Or a lack of maintenance? At that point, none of these possibilities had been officially confirmed. The Innova incident showed how an invisible threat can quickly transform the routine of an entire city. In only a few hours, workers were evacuated, schools were closed, hundreds of people sought medical attention, and emergency teams faced a long battle to bring an overheated chemical tank under control. Now, investigators must determine not only what happened, but also whether the accident could have been prevented. For the people of Manaus, the memory of that chemical odor spreading through streets and neighborhoods remains. An odor that could not be seen, but one that was powerful enough to place an entire city on alert.